Once upon a time, there was a poor young man named Jack. He had no money, no home, and not a bite of food to his name, yet he remained cheerful. "I'm sure I'll find something," he'd say to himself. "I'll just walk down this road to the next town." Before long, a very old woman called out to him from the other side of the road. "What can I do for you?" Jack asked. "What is it that you want?" the old woman countered. "What do I want? I want to have money," he replied. "You can have all the money you desire," the old woman said. "Take this enchanted blue coat and climb to the top of that tall tree. Once there, you'll find an opening to climb down inside it. You will enter a large chamber illuminated by 300 lights, and you will see 3 doors. Go through the first door," she instructed, "and you will find a large chest. On top of it sits a dog with eyes as big as eggs. Don't be alarmed, it will not harm you. Lay my blue coat on the floor, take the dog, and place it on the coat. Open the chest, and you'll find it filled with money. Take as much as you like. Then," she continued, "go through the second door. You will see an even larger chest with a dog whose eyes are as big as oranges. Do not be afraid, it won't hurt you either. Place this dog on the coat, open the chest, and you will see it is filled with gold. Take some for yourself. Finally, go through the third door. There you will find the largest chest of all, guarded by a dog with eyes as large as dinner plates. Do not fear it, for it is friendly. Inside its chest, you will find precious jewels. Take as many as you wish." "This is incredible," Jack exclaimed. "But what can I do for you in return?" "I don't want any money, gold, or jewels," the old woman said. "I only ask for one small thing. In the third room, there is a little glass box that my grandmother lost long ago. Bring me that box." So Jack climbed up the tree and descended into its hollow trunk. He went down, down, down until he saw the 300 lights and the 3 doors. He opened the first door and entered a small room. There, on a chest, sat the dog with eyes as large as eggs. "Good boy," Jack said, remembering the old woman's instructions. He spread the blue coat on the floor, gently placed the dog upon it, and opened the chest. His heart leapt with excitement. He filled his hat with money, put the dog back on the chest, and proceeded to the second room. In the second room, the dog with eyes as big as oranges sat on its chest. "You're a fine dog," Jack said. He placed it on the coat and opened the chest. His own eyes widened, reflecting the gleaming gold inside. Jack took a handful of gold and added it to his hat. Then he entered the final room. The dog here had eyes as large as plates. "What a magnificent dog you are," he declared. He gazed at the jewels in the chest, and his eyes sparkled with all the colors of the rainbow: red, blue, yellow, green, and gold. He filled his shoes with jewels. Then he remembered the old woman's glass box. He spotted it on the floor next to the dog and picked it up. Climbing back up the tree was much more difficult with the weight of the gold and jewels, but he managed to pull himself out. "Throw down the box," the old woman called as soon as she saw him. But Jack hesitated. Suddenly, a stone whizzed by and hit him on the head. "Help, I'm going to fall," he thought, but he steadied himself. "Did you throw that stone?" he yelled down. "Yes, now give me the box." Her friendly demeanor was gone. "I'm not going to give it to you," he replied. The old woman became furious, her face twisting into an ugly scowl. Jack climbed down to the ground and walked away. She shouted insults at him, but he didn't look back. There was nothing she could do. By the time he reached the town, it was night. He found a fine inn, rented the best room, and ordered a magnificent feast. The next day, he bought the most fashionable clothes. He was now a wealthy and important gentleman, and he quickly made many new friends. One day, someone asked him, "Have you heard about the princess?" "What princess?" Jack asked. "Who is she? Where does she live?" "You cannot see her," the man replied. "Why not?" "Because she is kept in a great castle with only one door and windows so high she can never look out. She is never allowed to leave. The king has decreed that no one may see her." "But why does she live like that?" Jack asked. "Because a wise man foretold that the princess would marry a poor man. The king was enraged by this prophecy and had the castle built to lock her away. "I must see the princess," Jack declared. He found the castle and went to the door, but the king's guards quickly turned him away. Undeterred, he donned his most expensive suit and went to the king's palace. The king was furious. "Do not come near my home again," he roared, "or I will have your head cut off and displayed on a spike." Jack lived a lavish lifestyle, and his newfound fortune dwindled quickly. One day, he was left with only 2 jewels. He had to leave his fine room and move into a dilapidated shack. Jack was poor once more. No one cooked his meals or cleaned his shoes. His wealthy friends no longer invited him to their parties. He tried to find the magic tree with the 3 dogs again, but it was nowhere to be found. Soon, Jack had no money left at all, not even for a loaf of bread. He looked around his bare room for something to sell. His eyes fell upon the little glass box on the table. "Perhaps I can get a few coins for this," he thought. "Why did that old woman want it so badly? It's just glass, and I can't even see inside. Maybe there are jewels or gold hidden within." He tried to open the box, but it was sealed shut. In frustration, he struck it once with his hand. Instantly, the dog with eyes as large as eggs appeared before him. "What is your command?" cried Jack. "My command?" cried Jack. "I need money." The dog vanished and returned moments later with a bag of money in its mouth. A realization dawned on Jack. "I see now," he said to himself. "The first dog comes when I strike the box once. The second dog must come when I strike it twice, and the third dog will appear when I strike it 3 times." He tapped the box twice, and the dog with eyes as large as oranges appeared, bringing him gold. He struck the box 3 times, and the dog with eyes as large as plates appeared, carrying jewels. Jack was rich again. He bought splendid clothes and moved into a grand mansion. All his old friends flocked back to him. "Where have you been? Why didn't you visit?" they asked. But Jack had no time for such fickle friends. His thoughts were consumed by the sad princess. "She can never go outside," he thought. "She never gets to walk in a garden. Her mother is gone, and she can only talk to servants and the old king. What an unhappy existence!" One night, Jack couldn't sleep. An idea struck him, and he leaped out of bed. He took the glass box and tapped it once. The first dog appeared. "It's a beautiful night," Jack said, "and no one will see. I know the princess would love a walk in my garden. Bring her here." The dog returned very quickly. The princess was asleep on its back, her beautiful face etched with sadness. Jack gently woke her and led her into the garden. "Where am I?" she cried, startled and afraid. "What's happening?" "You are safe with me in my garden," Jack said softly. "Look, even the flowers are sleeping." "A garden?" the princess whispered in awe. "Am I truly outside, with the ground beneath my feet and the sky above my head? No walls, no high windows. I can hear the sounds of the night all around me." They walked for a long time, and as the sun began to rise, she said, "I have to go, but how did I get here?" Jack told her about the magical glass box and the dogs. She tapped the box and called the dog herself. "Good dog," she said as it appeared. "You have such beautiful eyes. Please take me home. I don't want anyone to see us. And thank you, Jack, for this wonderful night." The princess climbed onto the dog's back and fell asleep. The next day, the princess couldn't remember the details of the night, but she felt a change within her. Her servant, an envious and unkind woman named Anna, woke her. "Wake up, princess. It's the middle of the day. The king is waiting for you." "Is he?" the princess said and jumped happily out of bed. "Look, Anna, what a beautiful day." Anna found this very strange. First, the princess always rose at 7, but today it was noon. Second, the princess was always melancholic, but today she was cheerful. Third, the hem of the princess's nightgown was dirty. And fourth, there was a beautiful white flower on the princess's bedroom floor, a flower that did not grow in the king's garden.
Anna reported her suspicions to the king. "Let's wait and watch," the king said. "When she leaves again, we will follow her." Jack was deeply in love with the princess. He thought of her day and night. After 3 days, he could wait no longer. He struck the glass box twice, and the dog with eyes as large as oranges appeared. "Please bring the princess to my garden," he requested. The dog went to the princess, but Anna was there, watching. The dog carried the sleeping princess away on its back, and Anna followed stealthily behind. The dog stopped at the door of a large house and went inside. Anna marked the door with an X in chalk and returned home. Jack and the princess walked in the garden again. He told her the story of the old woman, the tree, the 3 dogs, and the glass box. He told her about his poor mother and his siblings. The princess was captivated by his stories. She, in turn, spoke of her own life. "My father was once a great man and a good king," she said, "but when my mother died, he changed. He grew old and tired and sad. He shut me away in that castle. Now he gets angry over the smallest things. He doesn't want to be king anymore. All he wants are white flowers in his garden because my mother loved them. But now his flowers always wither and die." As the morning sun began to paint the sky, the princess said her goodbyes. Jack tapped the box twice, and the second dog appeared. This dog, with its orange-sized eyes, could see everything. It noticed the X on the door and alerted Jack. "Ho, ho!" Jack laughed. "Come with me. We'll put an X on every door in this street and the next 10 streets." The next day, Anna led the king to Jack's street. "This is the house," Anna cried. "No, this is it," the king exclaimed. One of their men ran up saying, "The house is in the next street. It has an X on the door." But every house had an X on its door. The king, furious and frustrated, went home. Later that day, Anna devised another plan. She made a small pouch and filled it with tiny white pebbles. She made a small hole in the bottom of the pouch and hid it in the princess's clothes. "Now," she said, "when the princess goes out, the stones will fall, leaving a trail for us to follow." That night, Jack called for the princess again with the glass box. As they walked in the garden, the dog with eyes as large as plates stood guard at the front of the house. "I wish I were a prince," Jack said. "And I wish I were not a princess," she replied. "Why?" he asked. She didn't answer. "I want to be a prince," he continued, "because I want to marry you." They sat down under a tree, and Jack placed the glass box on the ground beside him. "Don't be a prince," she said softly. "I cannot love a prince. I will be a simple girl, and you will be my Jack." At that very moment, the guard dog saw the king and Anna approaching with 100 servants. They had followed the trail of shining white pebbles. The dog rushed to the princess. The king is coming," it cried. "We must go, quickly." The dog fled through the streets with the princess on its back. The king, Anna, and the servants arrived at Jack's house. "Is the princess here?" the king demanded. Jack said nothing. Suddenly, the king saw his daughter's small slipper on the ground next to some beautiful white flowers. He was speechless for a moment, then his face hardened with rage. "My woodsman will cut off your head at noon tomorrow," he bellowed. The servants seized Jack and locked him in a room in the palace. Jack frantically searched for his glass box. Where was it? He realized with a sinking heart that he had left it under the tree. He was lost.
When the sun rose, Jack went to the high window. He saw a young boy in the street below and called out to him, "Hey, little boy." "What do you want?" the boy shouted back. "Would you like 3 gold coins?" "Yes, please," said the boy. "Then run to my house. Tell my servant Jack has a little glass box. It's in the garden under a tree. He needs me to bring it to the palace. When you bring me the box, I will give you the 3 gold coins." The boy ran off and returned a short while later with the box. "Throw it up to me," Jack called. The boy tossed the box up and Jack caught it. He then threw down the coins. Just then, the door opened and the king's men entered. They escorted Jack to a large square in the center of town. Everyone had gathered to watch. The king stood in the middle of the square, surrounded by his advisors. In front of Jack stood a tall, strong woodsman in a long red coat and a tall black hat. "Are you ready?" the king asked the woodsman. "Are you ready?" the woodsman asked Jack. "No!" cried Jack, and he took out the glass box. "Are you ready?" the woodsman repeated. "No!" cried Jack again, and he struck the box once. He struck it again, twice, and then a third time. The 3 magnificent dogs stood before him. "Take the woodsman away," he commanded the dog with eyes as large as eggs. "Throw him in the river." The dog bounded away with the woodsman on its back. "Take the king's men away," Jack said to the dog with eyes as large as plates. The dog grew larger and larger until it was the size of a house. The crowd gasped. The king's men, terrified, scattered and fled. "Bring the princess here," Jack said to the dog with eyes as big as oranges. "And where is the king?" he shouted. In a short time, the princess and the king stood before Jack, with the 3 dogs standing guard behind them. "Do you want to be king?" Jack asked the old king. "No," said the king wearily. "I only want to have white flowers in my garden and a happy daughter." "When the princess and I marry," Jack declared, "white flowers will bloom in your garden again, and the princess will be happy." And so Jack married the princess. The new king and queen lived joyfully for many years. They had 6 children and a very large, beautiful garden. The old king spent his final years living nearby, his own garden a magnificent sea of white flowers all year round.